Welcome back, hunters. I'm the SurvivalVis, and we return Monster Hunter World ICE, where today we've got the second outlier monster we'll go after, which is just going to be Lavasioth. But before I do that, I want to do something to kind of honor the sacrifice of the Dodogama from last episode. So what we're going to do is try and find it. Wait a minute. Did they not even give... Is there not even a Palico set for poor Dodogama? Wow, they did him so dirty. I was going to try to deck Runa out in something, but... Oh, man. That don't sit right with me. You know what? Because it's kind of similar, I guess we'll go for the Lavasioth armor for her. Yeah, I can do that. Let me see. I don't think we want that. Nah, we're not really looking for intimidating. No, we kind of like to see the face a little bit. Nah. Not quite. Actually, no, maybe I'll just... Actually, I kind of like the Anjanath head with it. Sort of looks like Dino Gladiator in a way. And truthfully, I would try getting the Kitty of the Valley rod because the paralysis is amazing, but I think I'll probably just stick with... Ooh, hang on. Do I want to go for blast or do I want to go for poison? One nice thing with World was... Oh, you know what? We're going to go for that. Yeah, there we go. A nice thing about World was if you did give your hunting helpers, like... Well, actually, I guess World, Iceborne, and Rise and Sunbreak. They started to make it so that way it's much more worth it to... Ooh, though that has paralysis to it. You know what? We'll... that is actually weaker. You know what? We'll give Runa the big boom maker. They can keep that. Starting from, like... World, Iceborne, Rise, Sunbreak, we start to see as you would equip your Palicos and then Palamutes with the status stuff, they would proc at least once per hunt, which made them much more helpful. Because I think in Generations and Generations Ultimate, you didn't really see the payoff from, like, giving your Palicos stuff like that. If you did, it was very rare, or hunts didn't really last, well, I guess kind of varies how well of a hunter you were, if you would have enough time to see something go off. But yeah, we'll just eat up there, let this play out. And then after Lavasioth, tomorrow we're going... Not tomorrow, sorry. Next episode, we will go after Nergigante to continue things along. I'm trying to remember how bad Nergigante was for myself. I don't remember it being a wall, but I think I did struggle with it on the first hunt or two. Because there are a number of moves that will catch you by surprise if you haven't really gone after Nergigante that much. That's one thing where, if you had played the demo for Monster Hunter World, you probably had a little bit of insight to how the monster operated. But if you didn't, Nergigante steps things up a fair bit. Okay, but now we're looking for... Yeah, there we go. Lavasioth, Monster of Magma. Yeah, we'll go down to that one. And let me just double check our inventory. Potions are good. I don't really care about trapping it or capturing it. I'll just deposit all of the extra stuff we picked up in the field from last episode. So in. Ooh, actually, I might want to... Yeah, you know what? Okay, you know what? Yeah, sort items. Not that one, sorry. Up here. Yeah, let me even just take the 3. That should be enough, and then we can always take the 2 out of the supply box, so we'll have a bit of a bonus of what we bring in. Everything should be all set, so we'll head out and take care of Lavasioth. Probably the monster that, well, granted, all the Piscine Wyverns could kind of fall into the list of, meh, we don't really care. The only one that I think is most notable is probably Plesioth, and that's just because of his interdimensional hip strike. And I don't want to talk too much about, again, how I know I've gone over with what I think would be the better approach. You know what, let's snag the Bright Moss, why not? What would be a better redesign for how the Piscenes are? I mean, not even calling them Wyverns would probably be a very good step forward. Oh, that would be interesting. Because of the way the skeleton is, would it be that bad to think, like, you could reclassify Plesioth as just like a evolved flying Wyvern, or like a heavily water-adapted flying Wyvern? Because if you do that, then that frees up the other Piscine, or, well, the current Piscenes, to maybe go through a little bit of a revamp or redesign, And it keeps Plesioth able to still be like how he has been. I don't know, it's just... If you've watched me for a while, you know I'm kind of like... If there's a problem, I try to think of if there's any way to solve it, or how could something be done to improve it. The brain does not stop with crap like that, as much as I sometimes would like it to. It's always thinking. Okay, you know, let me try to find just one more bit of Dodogama tracks. Actually, I can probably find something from where he was just munching there. Yeah, there's some rocks he was having. Just so that way I get the tracking level up and we avoid any more Dodogama losses in the future. Not that I think there'll be a lot of opportunity for it, because I'm thinking once I do complete World ICE, I might take a little break before I do leap into Iceborne. Because I kind of feel like I need a little bit of a break from Monster Hunter. I know I've kept it as a staple on the channel for years now, but I also have to think of, like, the time I have to be able to, like, farm and grind up and... Wow, is that 2 fire cells? No, okay. Got lucky. I have to think about how much time I have available to be able to farm up, like, armor sets, equipment, items, stuff like that, to keep progressing. Now, with how the channel is going with the stuff I've had on, I also want to try to slim down a little bit on episode lengths, too. Because I think for... It's probably been tied heavily to the series I've been doing, but having so many around, like, the half-hour length, I'm sure can be a little hard to tackle sometimes, or some people aren't able to watch fully, and it might be a little more intimidating for that. Yeah, come out there, you. There's the big fish. Yeah, Lavasioth. Yeah, pretty boring monster overall, if I'm honest. There's a reason why he was the world's least hunted. Well, at least that was until they gave him the event quest with the decorations from him. I do feel like, again, if Leviathans could have fit into World or were able to have been worked for the engine, Agnactor is just such an improved fight in, like, every capacity. Like, again, when he's standing up like this, he doesn't really have anything unique to worry about aside from he just spits fireballs at you, or just charges. He kind of feels like a misplaced monster that he's fought a lot later than he should for his moveset, and just feels a really basic fight. Like, when you're up at the point where you're fighting, like, Azurathalos, Diablos, Urgon, he just feels like such a weird outlier. And, like, all he really does to threaten us is, like, either belly flops or just spits. That's it. Okay, let me see if I can find... He does have one good feature, though. Again, it could have been done by Agnactor 2, which is if you want to... Is it 2 or 3? Oh, hang on. Maybe with his head broken, that's why it's not heating up. There we go. Yeah, you can use the slinger torches in order to actually, like, heat his armor to weaken him again. That's a really nice change, and again, it's where I feel the slinger super helped World. Give it a little bit of uniqueness, and was a perfect side tool for every weapon to have a little bit of something with it. I do kind of wonder what we might see, like, with the next big monster, or, well, I shouldn't even say big Monster Hunter title, but with whatever the next generation or next game is, what their big feature they'll try adding to it might be. Because ever since the 3rd gen, there's always been something they've tried doing to, I guess, make the generations more unique. 3rd generation had the underwater combat. Granted, Monster Hunter Portable 3rd took away from that, although actually kind of in his favor there. The 4th generation gave you verticality and climbing and mounting monsters. Generations and Generations Ultimate had the Hunter Arts and stuff. World Iceborne, Slinger, and then Clutch Claw, and then Rise Sunbreak, Switch Skills, and the Swap Scrolls. I think they were called Swap Scrolls. So I'm trying to think of, like, if there's been anything that could be done that hasn't yet as, like, a side or generation feature. It honestly feels like they've struck pretty good with a few things they've done in the past, and just even making it so that way the graphics are keeping up, there are new monsters. You can reuse some of the ones already in place. Like, my big one, again, would probably be to see underwater combat come back now that they've kind of been giving the players a little bit more dynamic movement. I think the big reason why it didn't work so well was because they tried to keep it a little bit of realism for being underwater. Like, you were slow, swimming was difficult, and monsters were properly fast in their element. But with how they tackled Rise and Sunbreak, I feel like they just gave a little bit more, I guess, fantasy movement or dynamic movement for players underwater. It could work out pretty well. But then there are some technical aspects that might have to be examined too, because it's like, how would you handle mounting then against monsters? You wouldn't... Would you be able to mount them just in the water, because that's kind of like you're in the air too? Or do you completely take out mounting from the series for that generation? It's one of those ones that, as much as it'd be nice to have it back, there are some technical aspects you probably have to consider before it can be implemented right. Personally, I have no problem if mounting doesn't come back in the series. It just feels weird that you can beat up a monster with, like, 7-foot-long sword, and a little carving knife makes it be freaking and flopping out like crazy. Yeah, again, Lavasioth. Probably got a little bit more I can break on him, but he is really no problem at all. You just get yourself a water weapon, and he's basically a pushover. And just gotta wait. Oh, actually managed to knock him out of the lava there. Or is that magma? I know somebody's gonna be technical and know what it is. I think it's once it's exposure to air, the nomenclature changes. I think it starts as magma underground, and then when it gets exposed to air or the surface, that's when it gets reclassified as lava. Might be mistaken, weird point to bring it up, but I mean, there is some connection to the tangent. And let's do... Uh-oh. Oh, I mean, I guess I got an attack through there? No, the little herd of the Gastodons, I think, took the brunt work of it. Yeah, just gotta keep peppering him on his way out. I see, again, it just feels so awkward for him when he's standing, especially, like, trying to leave this area. I'm just going to give him a chance to go. Couldn't have left me be. Well, I guess you kind of do have a point to be mad, since I don't know if it was me or him, but we took down the herd. But we'll at least carve these guys up, and then keep going. The little buffalo pachycephalosaurs, really. Okay, nothing else around here I can see getting. I don't see any slinger ammo, so I won't be doing the... Oh, actually, I will be doing the Thousand Dragon wake-up call. Though, I'm trying to think of what would actually be more damaging for the wake-up. I know the type of slinger ammo you use heavily changes like how much damage you'll do with Thousand Dragons, and I think the piercing pod is the best choice for it. But the bomb pods will work pretty good too. Yeah, see, I'm only really getting hit by putting myself in dumb situations. Oh, thank you, Runa. God, you know what? I am really loving having Runa with us. I think she's a little bit overpowered because the extra palico levels... I'm trying to remember what their cap was. I think it was like 10 in base world. And then Iceborne brought it up to 20. So yeah, she's quite a few levels overpowered for what you would expect for, like... or what the original release was. Okay. Yeah, it's just so many of the same moves over and over. Come on, go down. Well, thank you very kindly. I didn't even have to say please. There was Lavasioth. Just a big old fish. Not really much more to say to him. I don't really know how you could improve on his fight. Like, I think it is just because of how the Piscean Wyverns are. They're always going to kind of be a bit of a blandish hunt. But yeah, the poor guy. Neat design with, like, the coelacanthus. Or, not coelacanthus, but coelacanth, like, inspiration behind, like, the look of his head. I think the fins in that. Well, it's just one of the monster types that falls short for the series. Now, if you actually could... Well, I guess you can't really fight Lavasioth underwater. But again, if you could fight a true Piscean Wyvern in the water, that might really ramp up how difficult they could be. I do remember Plesioth from 3 Ultimate was a pretty interesting fight underwater. Now, yeah, we'll head back. That'll wrap everything up here, and then we will prep for the Nergigante hunt next episode. Yeah, kind of a basic end screen, I think, although it's nice to see him staring us down. What do we got? Ooh, you know what? I'll see if I can slot that in somewhere. Because, yeah, Again, I think I've mentioned it before, and I can't remember if it was correct or not, but I think the Monster Hunter World ICE mod did make it so that way, like, rare decorations could be gotten just through, like, optional quests, and there was a higher chance of seeing them. I might be mistaken. I'm just going to put it out there in case. There we go. Always pet the Poogie. And I'll just dump off some stuff, try to slot out our other thing, and then we'll be good for going after Nergigante. So let's see. Do I have a 2 slot? I do. Oh, okay, let me see. Because I think Nergigante is weakest to Thunder and then Dragon. Oh, see, I don't have another 2 slot. I think it'd be better to keep the Mighty Bow than change it out for a Charger. I don't think I have anything else in here. I mean, I do have a Fire attack, but I don't have any Thunder attack, so... I'll probably just keep what I've got. Oh, I do have a Stone Thrower, though. And that actually would help if I used the 1,000 Dragons. See, already before we've reached the true endgame for World, you could start going into some of the skill stuff, but we'll probably keep that as is. So yeah, next episode, we've got our big flagship monster we'll take on, see how we do in the set, and move the story along from there. So thank you all very much for joining me on this episode of Monster Hunter World ICE. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to give it a like, and if you have any comments, tips, or tricks, be sure in the comments right down below. And until I do see you in the next video, Hunters and Survivors, please remember, as always, to take care, stay alive, and happy hunting.